Time doesn't stop when you're grieving, but maybe it kind of does. When a big loss enters your life, when somebody really important to you dies or something really big changes in your life, time actually does stop for you. Time gets weird. It moves faster, it moves slower. Like, how is it possible that this is still the same day? Like, time gets wonkified in grief. Look, the reality is that other people are going to move on. That doesn't mean that you have to. That doesn't mean that you're doing it wrong. It just means you live in different time streams. We always live in different time streams from each other, but grief really makes that living in different worlds a lot more clear. So other people are going to move on. Other people are going to be like, that happened 6 months ago. Are you still upset about that? That's going to happen. We can't avoid that just by the temporal nature of life. So let's talk about what you do about it. One, recognize that everybody really is living in a different world. We all have our own world bubbles and time bubbles that we're walking around in. No one person's timeline is more correct than the other. That there is dissonance, that there is static between one person's haven't you moved on by now versus your this just happened. It's not worth it to argue whose timeline is more correct. That's not going to be efficient. So what are you going to do about it? One, recognize that it happens. Two, if you're getting sort of judgment from the outside, that happened a whole year ago, aren't you over it by now? It's time for you to move on. It's been a long time. You can say things like, thanks for your opinion, have a nice day, like out of here. You can also say, I know it feels like a long time for you, but for me, this just happened. It's okay to say, hey, our timelines are different. I would appreciate you not applying your time sense to me. Basically, zip it or go away. The other thing is to recognize or realize for yourself that time is always elastic. Maybe you've had this experience before grief, but like you're having a really great time and the day seems to stretch out for much longer. Or an even better example that many of us can relate to is like summers felt really long when you were a kid, and now that you're a grown-up, like summers are over in a second. Time is always going to be elastic. You will always be moving in and out of relationship with how long it feels since your person died. It's always going to feel like that. Grief is not a linear, time-bound experience. It does not have a clear middle, beginning, and end. See, it so much doesn't have a clear timeline that I forgot that the beginning comes first. It's just not like that. So there is no timeline for grief. There is no point that it's going to be over. Your relationship to time, sort of getting closer to what the outside world thinks, how much time has elapsed, how much the world has moved on, all of that stuff, that distance between your sense of time and the outside world's sense of time, they will eventually get closer together. But for a while, that difference is going to be really clear and kind of bumpy. So I want you to know that it's normal. I want you to not have to defend your time reality to other people if you don't have to, and advocate for yourself. It is okay to say to other people, your sense of time is very different than my sense of time, and I need you to respect that. So one last thing I want to say about the nature of time and moving on and how long it's been. One of the most helpful things that somebody said to me in my own loss, I remember being at like 3 months and feeling like it had been forever since I had seen him, and I have to live this for the rest of this life. Are you kidding me? And I already felt like I was failing the move on test, that it's been such a long time now, sort of those two dueling things of it was just a second ago that he was here, but it's also been an eternity since I've seen him. And I remember what my friend said to me was, with a loss of this magnitude, just happened can be 8 minutes ago or 80 years ago. It's all the same thing. That helped me so much. It helped me anchor myself in time and understand my relationship with time in a way that, like, yeah, this loss rocks the world in such a way that just happened can mean anything from 8 minutes to 85 years. And I want you to hear that too. With a loss of this magnitude, just happened is just as made up as time zones. Time is relative.